Alright, so this is gonna be an unscripted video on my experience being in the military. And the reason why I'm making this video is because I watched a DBDR video, and the name of the video was something like my thoughts on joining the military as a lost, unwanted man with no future. And basically I just went off in the comment section. I said, if you want me to, I'll put up a video, why I joined the military if people are interested. I had a guy reply to the comment. So this video is for him and for anyone else who's interested in listening to what I had to say. Now, I'm not really looking to get into the commentary space, and DBDR, he himself refers to himself as a black pill YouTuber. And so, I know about the black pill. I know about these kinds of things, but I'm not really that interested in it, to be honest with you. I just think that DBDR is funny. I think he's entertaining. So, don't expect me to like get off into like some hype pill, some MOG pill, like whatever it is, the freaking age pill, whatever. I'm not really gonna get too deep into that because like I'm gonna keep it real with you, like I just don't care, And so just real quick about me, like I'm not gonna be like one of those guys that's like, oh, like I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I care how tall you are, how ugly you are, all those things. Like it matters. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, bro, it doesn't matter. Just just be more confident, do whatever. Like okay, if you're ugly, if you look like garbage, like there's nothing I could do about that. I don't really care. If those things are, I will say though, if you are hideous, you're physically hideous, and you're a loser, and you have nothing going on in your life, honestly, you're basically a perfect candidate for the military. I think, the only thing is, if you're like a fat slob, you're not going to make it, bro. Your NGMI. What you need to do if you're a fat slob, you need to lose a weight. You need to lose yourself some damn weight. And, because nobody's going to give a shit if you're ugly, bro. In the military, if you're ugly, that's fantastic, bro. Because, look, I don't know. I just think that, like you'll be, cause I just think like basically like if you're ugly, that means you're more expendable, If you're ugly, bro, no, like people are just gonna look at you, they're gonna be like, eh. So it's like if they hear like you got bombed overseas, like yeah, it's be, oh, look at the picture of this soldier, he got bombed overseas. They're gonna look at it, they're just gonna look at your face, and they're gonna be like, eh. You know what I mean? So like like if you got that going on, sure, bro, go ahead and enlist, especially if you got nothing else happening. But anyway, I'm kind of getting sidetracked. Back to why I joined, right? I joined a little later. Most people in the military, that if you decide to join the military, you go in there, basic training. Most of the people that's in there is probably going to be getting out of high school. So they're going to be around 18 or 19. I joined the military, I was 23 years old, so I was older than most of the people there, but there were still some people that was older than me, like people in their late 20s, mid to late 20s, even people that was in their early 30s. And sometimes there's even people that's older than that decide to join the military. And so basically what ended up happening, why I joined, was that like I was working a job, I went to culinary school when I was younger. I was working in the restaurant. Got a 2-year degree, was working in a Japanese restaurant at that time. And man, I'm not gonna lie, like the whole cooking thing, like it just kind of sucks, bro. Like it just kind of sucks. It's a low paying job. It's shitty. I didn't really even care about it. Like my heart wasn't in it. So I'm just like, okay, like, and then at the time, like the whole COVID was like popping off too. So I'm like, damn, man, like I need to do something else. Like what am I gonna do? And so, the whole COVID shit was popping off. So I'm like, okay, man, like I gotta go and do something else. So I'm like, okay, I wanted to be a soldier when I was younger, but like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I was like, worried about it. I'm like, oh, kind of like, being a bit of a pussy about it. And I'm just like, well, you know what? Like, this was after I had become a Christian too, so I'm just kind of like, I don't really care. Like if I die, I'm good. Like I'm with God, so I was like not really worried about that. And anyway, so basically I'm like, okay, time to do something. So I went to a recruiter. I told my boss working at the Japanese restaurant, I'm like, yeah, man, I'm joining the army, whatever, whatever. So, they had to find a replacement for me at my job and all that. So I went to the recruiter. I wanted to go to school. I wanted to go back to university. And incidentally, I do still plan on going back to university. But at that time, because of all the COVID stuff with all the online school, I'm like, yeah, it is a bunch of BS. So I don't want to be involved with it. So I'm just not bothered with that right now. I'm going to just go in the military. And then by the time I get out, the whole COVID thing should be over. And the reason why I bring this up is because, especially if you're like more like a black pill type, like really big into like everything that DBDR says, you're going to listen to this video and you're going to be like, oh man, this guy, like, like I'm not like, I'm not like a hyper autist. I'm not like super hideous or any of those things. Like you might say that I'm coping, that I am. I'm just, keeping it real. Like, I never really had a problem with some of the things that some of y'all might be facing. I definitely have problems, but not like that. And so basically, like it wasn't like a situation where I was like a complete shut-in. I had no friends. I had nothing going on in my life. Like all those things, like, yeah, I had friends. I was doing things, I had a job, you know what I mean? Like I was making money. I wasn't making crazy money. Honestly, I was getting kind of shit pay, and that's another reason why I would not recommend you to work in the kitchen, to be a line cook. Don't bother, bro. Don't bother. I mean, that's a whole separate topic, kind of, but I'm just saying. Anyway, man, so basically, I joined the military. I'm 23 years old, and I'm over there doing my thing. And basically, everyone says that the first part, basic training, is the hardest part. And that is mostly true, unless you have, because basically you go through what's called basic training. You go to the recruiter. You go to the recruiter, right? You tell them you're interested, and then once the recruiter knows you're interested, that's it. Like they're gonna keep trying to get you to join. So I mean, I do want to emphasize this too before I get too much into the actual training. I do want to emphasize, like if you go to the recruiter and you go in there and you tell them you're interested, you are under no obligation to do anything. You don't have to do anything. Do not let anyone scam you or lie to you. If you go to the recruiter, you can go to the recruiter. You can go take the ASVAB, right, which is the military IQ test to see what jobs you can qualify for. You can go ahead and take the ASVAB test, and you're going to do all those things, and then you can go get a medical evaluation, because what's going to end up happening is you need to be medically evaluated to see if you're fit to serve. For example, I got medically disqualified from the Army because I have scoliosis. I did not know that I had scoliosis until I went to the Army, and they diagnosed me with scoliosis. And I had to get a medical waiver to say, hey, this person has scoliosis, but even though he has scoliosis, he's still capable of serving, based on how screwed up my spine was. Like I said, I like lifted weights and stuff. I didn't even know this was the thing that I had until I went there. But the point is that you can go take the test, get your medical evaluation, but until you sign the dotted line and raise your right hand in that room, you are under no obligation to serve the U.S. military. So what I'm saying is basically, if you just want to go into the military and see what your options are, see what jobs you qualify for, that does not obligate you to do anything. Doesn't matter how desperate the recruiter is, how much they harass you. If all you want to do is just go in there, walk in there, take the test, go get evaluated, see if you qualify and what you qualify for, that's all. You could do all that and then walk away. So, I'm just saying that basically, especially if you got nothing else going on in your life, you really do have nothing to lose just by going to seeing what your options are. Anyway, and then the other thing too is I think that probably most of the people who are watching this, I think it's reasonable to assume that you're relatively intelligent. So you should have pretty good qualifications. But anyway, getting away from that, everyone says that the hardest part is basic training, and that is usually true. Because like I was saying earlier, you're going to go through basic training, and then after you go through basic training, you're going to have a job training, what they will call AIT, Advanced Individual Training. So so for example, if you wanted to be a military truck driver, and here's another thing I'll bring up real quick. There's all different types of jobs in the military. I know some of you guys are probably computer nerds, and I don't use that term disparagingly. I just mean you're an intelligent person and you have skills with electronics. You know, some of you guys are computer nerds. Some of you guys might be into like radios, or like, honestly, man, like even if you wanted to be a cook, I would say you're a young person, go be a military cook. They'll teach you all the same skills, you know, that you would get in culinary school, but they pay for you to get trained instead of you paying, you know what I mean? So basically, like, whatever you're interested in, like I was interested in learning a foreign language. So I told that to my uncle who is in the military. He said, hey, you know, yeah, there's a job. They'll teach you to learn another language. So, you know, anyway, whatever you're interested in, just think about what that is and go into the military recruiting office, say, hey, I'm into programming, or I'm into engineering, or whatever it is, you know, like whatever, you know, you want to do, there's most likely a job for that, and you don't have to do anything related to combat. So let's say you want to be a military truck driver, you like driving, you want to be a military truck driver, cool. You go in there, you tell them, you know, okay, I want to do this. You go to basic training, and basically everyone gets through basic training eventually. That's another thing. You really can't fail basic training, even if you're a lard ass, even if you're retarded. You know, it would be, I mean, if you're like, honest, like, yeah, obviously if you're actually retarded, then, you know, you can't get in the military. But I mean, like, even if you're unintelligent, you know, you will get through basic training. You will do it. And then after that, you know, you have your advanced individual training. So you're going to have that. That's where, like, if you're going to be a truck driver, they'll teach you how to drive trucks, military trucks, and you'll learn those skills. Now, depending on what your AIT is, it may or may not be very difficult. So, for example, let's say you wanted to do explosive ordnance disposal, or EOD as is commonly known. EOD is known for having a high washout rate. Like, it's like last time I checked, it was like 50% of all people who do EOD fail. And I don't know how that works, but basically one thing to keep in mind with that is if you join the military, you might get a bonus. You might get a bonus. So let's say you pick a job. Let's say let's say you just did EOD. And they're like, okay, when you'll get a $40,000 bonus if you do EOD. That's actually not necessarily true. What will happen is if you go and you finish basic training and EOD school and you pass, then you'll get $40,000. And it's not like they just give it to you straight away. It's like a half and half or something. I don't know. I didn't get a bonus. But anyway, yeah, so you can negotiate too. So it's like if you're like, okay, I'm 18 years old and I'm thinking about going to college, but I'm also thinking about going to the military. Don't just go to the military and be like, okay, I want to enlist. Like, if you have any other options, tell them that. Tell them, hey, I'm thinking about doing something else. What can you do for me? What can you do for me, Mr. Recruiter or Mrs. Recruiter, to make me sign that dotted line? And they're going to work their asses off because I'm telling you, bro, the military's down people. So, like, be selfish. Don't just think about, I mean, if you're a real patriot, you want to serve your country, great. But, man, you got to look out for yourself, too. So get something out of it. If you want money, if you're financially motivated, go ahead. Tell them that. Tell them, I need this amount of money. Be reasonable. You know, I want a bonus. If I'm enlist, I'm going to need a bonus. Or if, you're like, hey, I want to be in the military, but I also want to be a ranger. Make that happen for me. Get it in my contract, or I'm not enlisting. Whatever it is you want, so look out for yourself, man. Anyway, so yeah, you're gonna go through your AIT, and then what's gonna happen after you go through your advanced individual training, and you pass, will happen after you pass. And if you don't pass, what will end up happening is they'll just put you in another job. So you got to be careful with that, because it's like, like if you want to be, civil, if you want to do like be a dog handler. I forget what that is. I don't know. I forget what it is, but they have dog handlers, like military police that handle the dogs. If you do that and you fail out of it, they might send you to infantry school, or they might send you to be a cook or some other thing. And, that's shitty, or it could be shitty. I don't know. It might even be better for you. I don't know. But anyway, you might get, so keep that in mind too. If you're going to do, basically what I'm saying is, you have to have an understanding of how intelligent you are, bro. A lot of you guys are probably smart, but some of you guys are not geniuses. So it's like, if you want to do one of the hardest jobs in the military and you fail, just understand how smart you are, because it's like, I don't want you to go in there and be like, oh, if I don't get this job, oh man, I don't want to be in the military if I don't get this job. Like, dude, if you aren't intellectually capable of doing something, you're going to have to do something else. Understand that when you go in, you might have to do something else. So basically what I'm saying is, either pick something that you will be able to do, or you have to be okay with doing something else. Anyway, that said, you're going to go through your advanced individual training. After that, then you're going to go to your first duty station. And your first duty station, depending on where you go, most likely you will be there for a couple years. Unless you end up getting stationed overseas, then it could be shorter. And you could get stationed overseas on your first duty station. Now, I'm not saying that your first duty station is going to be like you're going to go to Syria or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, you're probably going to go somewhere where the U.S. Army has more of a footprint, like Germany or possibly Japan. The other thing, too, is you guys might get in and you're going to say, oh, well, yeah, I want to go in the military, but I don't want to go unless they send me to Japan, or I don't want to go unless they send me to, it's not like that. They're going to give you a piece of paper, or at least they gave me a piece of paper that said, pick what duty station you want to go to. Which ones do you have a preference for? It's bullshit. The reason why they give you that is to make you feel better. It doesn't mean anything. You might possibly get, if you do really well in school, in the schoolhouse where they train you, if you're top of your class, you might have what they'll call a geographic preference, where they allow you to pick your station. But for 80, well, I wouldn't even say 80, for 99% of you, this is not gonna happen. So in the military we say it sucks to suck, and it's gonna suck to suck if you have to go somewhere and you don't like being there. I will say though, for you younger people, 18 years old or even into your early 20s, not that I'm saying don't do the military if you're older, but for you younger people, man, honestly, I would recommend at least considering it and going into the recruiter to see what's going on. Because the worst thing that happens, right, is you join the military and you're like, bro, this sucks, dude, I don't like this. Great. Then just, get in and get out. Get in and get out. They're gonna you have to understand, there's a lot of people in the military who are dumb, and I don't say this to be mean. I'm just saying that not everyone in the military is intelligent, and you don't have to be smart to be a soldier, so that's fine. I'm not down in those people. But what I'm saying is that people will tell you things that are obviously not true to try to get you to re-enlist. And they're going to be like, oh man, oh wow, you don't like your duty station, you're not having a good time. Don't judge the military off of your first duty station. It'll get better. And then you're going to get to you're going to re-enlist, and you go to your next duty station, and they're going to say, oh, don't judge the military off of your first 8 years. It's going to get better after your second re-enlistment. And then, it's just going to be on, and they're just going to tell you these lies. And they're going to be like, yeah, man, yeah, you've been in for 16 years, but it'll get better after you retire. And it's like, you don't want to end up in this situation where you're waiting until you're 40 years old to start living. You don't want to go there, bro. That's how people in the military end up killing themselves. And yes, suicide's a big problem in the military. Little bro, I don't want you to have to deal with that. Or big bro, I don't want you to have to deal with that. Whoever you are, if you're listening to this, consider joining the military. Like, man, like the military could be a real soul crushing job at times. I would describe it as being like there's a certain kind of like corporate soullessness, whereas the people just had this dead-eyed, miserable look, and it's like, man, like they had no hope, bro. They legit got no hope, and they're just depressed. And I understand, because it's like some guy is like 40 years old, like his wife is like sneaking off with like some 20-year-old behind his back. Like, I get why he would be depressed. And to avoid having those kind of problems, just get in and get out, bro. You don't have to stay here. Do your time, get out, and go do something else if that's what you want to do. Some of you, like I said, especially you guys who got a face for fighting, some of you will know what that means. You might love the military, you might you might love the military. And if you love it, then stay in. Great, if you love it, then stay in. If not, you can always get out. The pain is temporary, so it's fine. And it will go by quick. I've been in for about 3 years. I'm about to get out, and I got about 6 months just about left in my contract. So, my experience, right? Why did I join the military? I joined because, I wanted to gain skills. I wanted to learn something. I wanted to be a soldier, and that was the number one reason. Don't join the military for any other reason other than you want to be a soldier. And I'm not even like a super patriot. Like, I'm not even like super, because I'm a northerner, man. We're like, we're not really like that. But, like, it's cool, like, serve your country and all that. But, like, I'm just saying that, like, I'm not like super hoo-ah type. So anyway, yeah, I wanted to get skills. And, also, I'm Christian, and I thought that being in the military would make me a better Christian. One of the Army values, they say, is selfless service. And that was attractive to me as a Christian. So, I mean, I think the military did make me a better Christian, especially at first, but I don't know, man. Like now, basically, like, for me personally, I feel like it's kind of like going to the gym, I guess. It's like, when you first start going to the gym regularly, you're gonna have this period where, like, you get a lot out of it quickly, and then everything after that is just kind of like, not whatever. You're still gonna make progress, but it's gonna slow down. And I feel like I already got like the most I'm gonna get out of the military. Like past this point, in my opinion, the juice is no longer worth a squeeze. But everything I wanted to get out of the military, training, leaving my hometown, I mean, I had left my hometown before, but I wanted to leave again. I was getting sick of it, sick of the grind. Now it's just another grind I'm getting sick of. But anyway, yeah, get out of my hometown, learn skills, go do something cool, and most of all, be a soldier. Those are the reasons why I joined the military. And I got all those things I wanted out of it. I didn't feel like I got screwed over or lied to by my recruiter. So that's positive. That's a good thing. And, especially if you have a relative who's in the military, talk to them about it. They might tell you not to join, but, if they see that you really want to do it and you're not going to let them discourage you, hopefully they just give you advice and tell you their experience instead of just telling you, no, don't do it, no, don't do it, no, don't do it. Do what you want to do. Don't make decisions based on what other people want you to do, because that's how you're going to end up living a really unfulfilled life. I mean, I don't want to sit here and give you too much life advice, but I'm just saying. Including the recruiter, don't let them talk you into doing things you want to do either. And, like, people keep telling me, oh, re-enlist. No. Because if I re-enlist, man, like, people in the military don't care about you. I'm going to just put it that way. People in the military might pretend that they care about you, and the reason why they pretend to care about you is because it's good for your morale. And that's the right thing to do. You should at least pretend to care about people, because not only is it good for their morale and it will make them re-enlist and stuff, but it's just, I don't know, it's just polite, I guess. Like, just don't treat people badly. I don't know. But you got to be careful with that too, because like they'll pretend that they care about you, and you know that when you're really having a problem, they ain't gonna be there for you. If you re-enlist or you enlist and you regret it, your recruiter's not gonna be there to, they're not gonna care. They really don't care, and you got to understand that when you're a soldier, you give up being a person, like in some sense. And I know that, like, people that I serve with would probably be horrified by what I'm saying, but you got to understand that, like, I've been in the military. I've read a lot about war, and I understand, man, that like war is not about caring about people, because at the end of the day, you got to go send some girl's son to go die violently, and perhaps to die in a horrible and savage way. So you can't be thinking about it like they're people, they're people. It's just no, like when you're a soldier, you're not really like, you're more like a hammer than you are like a person. You're a tool to be used, and that's what you are. So understand that you serve politicians in Washington. If they want to send you on an unjust war, then you're going on an unjust war, and you volunteered for it. So don't be mad. You volunteered for this. If you decide to do that, understand that you are just a pawn in a greater scheme to, further the political interest of whoever is currently in office. And anyway, yeah, I mean, like, for you guys, you black pill type guys, I think you probably would have an attitude problem joining in the military, but you would probably get some. I mean, like, you guys aren't like typically thuggish, so you would probably be fine. Because in the military, the way I would put it is, every other job I had, because I used to work. I mean, I really just used to work in the kitchen, but any other job I had, I had to do a lot of different things. In the military, you only got to do one thing. You only got one job, one task in the military, and that is to do what you are told. So, especially as a lower ranking person, you can't really screw it up too bad. And even if you do, they're gonna be like, oh, well, this guy's dumb. He's new in the army, so he doesn't get it yet. So you have. I'm not saying to rely on that to like get you out of, perform competently doing your job, but I'm just saying that you don't have as much to fear in that regard. And so, yeah, I mean, like, honestly, I would for people who are lost, for people who feel like they're lost, unwanted men with no future, should you join the army? I don't know. You answer that for yourself. But I'll tell you what, if you join the military, you ain't gonna be lost no more. You're gonna know exactly where to go, when to be there, and what uniform to be in. And you ain't gonna be unwanted no more, because nobody wants you more than the army. I'm really serious. Nobody wants you more than the army. And if you go to a recruiter, you'll find that out real quick, because they're going to be texting you. Hey, if you're the type of person that got no messages in your phone, bro, you going to get some from that recruiter, bro. And they might even front like they're your friend. They are not your friend, bro. But they might act like they are, because they want you to join. So keep that in mind. And yeah, I mean, they'll tell you where to be. They want you there for sure, bro. And you are capable of doing the training. Just be careful what AIT you pick, because if you pick something too hard, like I was talking about before. But I mean, honestly, like, I don't regret joining. I don't regret joining. If you are, on the off chance that you're a woman watching this video, to keep it real with you, man, I mean, lady, I would not recommend joining, because there's too much sexual misconduct in the military. Like, sexual assault happens a lot. And the military is trying to get better about it. And, but I'm just saying that, like, if you join the military as a woman and something happens to you, I'm just warning you right now. You were warned. And it sucks that I have to say that. I don't want to have to say that, but, that's how it is. And, I mean, throughout my military career, I heard things. I didn't necessarily see things, but I heard things. And I'm just saying, like, if I had a daughter, like, it would be a no-go for me. It'd be a no-go. Would not let that happen. But I'm not telling you what to do if you're a woman, though. You can do whatever you want. I'm just telling you some of the. You will have to deal with things that. I mean, like you have to deal with sexual harassment even as a man, but I mean, it's just different, you know. It's just different. And anyway, so yeah, I mean, I wouldn't recommend doing it. I would recommend strongly considering it, especially for you younger people. And you know, especially if you're a person who your parents want you to go to college, but they aren't going to pay for your college. Going to college at the age of 18, I did it, and I do not recommend it. Your brain, I'm just telling you, man. Everyone wants to think they're a mature 18-year-old. I was not a mature 18-year-old. You are not a mature 18-year-old. And even if you're more mature than most people your age, you're going to be way mature after a 4-year stint in the military. I'm telling you, bro. And the thing is that actually veterans tend to have higher GPAs than non-veterans because when your teacher tells you to do something, you do it. And when that happens, you have a higher GPA. I'm telling you, it'll be better for you academically and financially because you get the college benefits. Just don't get stuck up in the military trap. If you want to do it, and if you want to go to college, get in the military and get right back out. Don't let people talk you into re-enlisting, and they're gonna make you feel bad. But please do not give in to that pressure. Do not do it if you want to go to college, because you're gonna end up being one of those people who get stuck in the military for way longer than you should have been there. Well, I mean, if you're in there, then obviously, you know, like everything happens for a reason. But and so yeah, I mean, yeah, if your parents aren't going to pay for your school, but they want you to go to school, just be like, sorry, mom, sorry, dad, but you aren't paying for it. And I don't want to make a decision that I want to regret later. So what's the worst situation? You decide you want to join the military, so they get mad at you and kick you out. Well, the military will pay for you to have a place to live anyway. So go ahead, do your military, and then go to school. It'll be more affordable for you, and you'll be more mature. You'll have a better idea of what you want to study. Because let's say you want to go in the military and handle computers, and you're like, man, I hate computers. After you get out of the military, great, now you know what to not go to college for. I really do seriously think that the military, for people who don't have parents that are going to pay for their college, is a really, really good option. And so, you know, I don't want to drag this video out a little too long. It's already been half an hour. Just keep all these things in mind, and you know, of course, God bless you. You know, God does love you, and you know, I don't want to leave that out of this video. I am here to tell you about God's love for you, and just keep in mind, you know, no matter what you're going through, no matter how anxious or depressed you are loved by at least, you know, one person, and that person is Jesus Christ. I love you too. And, you know, we all, you know, as Christians, we do love you, and we want you to repent of your sin and to be accepted into the kingdom of God. Keep these things in mind. If you have any questions about joining the military, feel free to drop a comment in the comment section below. I'll try to give you some more information about my experience. I didn't give you a lot of specific information about my unit, where I'm stationed, or anything like that for privacy reasons. And that's really all that I have for you guys, all right? And God bless you. You know, have a good night, have a good day, whatever is going on with you, all right?